Now, your most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, sponsored by AC Designs.
All right, folks, if you've been with us any amount of time, you know that typically, and the National Hurricane Center agrees, that when the first cone comes out, and this really is the first cone, the one at noon and then now, but it's the first cone for the system as a tropical storm. It's probably the iffiest part of the forecast because of a lot of the data getting into now where a bunch of, we call them vortices, have become one. We'll get into computer models that we will then look at tonight and then during the day tomorrow. With that said, there's actually pretty amazing agreement on where this is going to go. So at first glance, if you look not only at the direction, but then the intensity. So rapidly to a hurricane, then to a major hurricane, probably a Category 4. Can't rule it out being a Category 5 hurricane. All the while, you keep drawing that line, doesn't look good for the southeast. But I can tell you, beyond that cone, we see some positive information for us as far as the forecast is concerned. Here's the headline. If it goes as forecast long term, we're fine except for the rip current risk. Now let's get to some of the details. All I'm doing here is looking at the wind because I think that even the eye wall will miss the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico. Going to be close, but we're going to watch this wind field. We're also going to watch the wind field because this is where the hurricane force winds are. That'll expand. These are the storm force winds. That tends to be the winds that cause the power outages. And then these are the winds that cause the large seas and the rip current risk. That's really what we'll be focusing on over the next 7 days because I think that is going to become large. What about the best computer models? Well, for something this far out, and by the way, that's 2,500 miles away, amazing agreement among the best models, but that's because the agreement becomes a disagreement when it gets right about here. And that is about 300 to 600 miles. Actually, that's 600 to 1,200 miles, 600 to 1,200 miles east of Florida. Big disagreement on just how hard of a turn, we call it a recurver, that this hurricane is going to make. All of them, though, agree in some form or fashion it's going to recurve to the north because of this. Now, this cool front is really, think of it as a surface reflection of a lot of stuff going on with the steering currents. The faster this goes to the southeast and the more it goes to the southeast and the more likely about Wednesday of next week the hurricane, we expect it will become a hurricane, will pass well to the east of us. But those are the features we're going to be watching. What about the next couple of days? Because remember, this thing is still over 2,500 miles away. Did you notice the air over the last couple of mornings? Although we're certainly heating up. Nice low dew point. That means, relatively speaking, dry air. So tomorrow, yes, it's going to be hot. But I do want to note in the morning, in case you've missed it, or maybe you've seen it and you don't know what it is. It's Mercury putting on an amazingly bright show. It almost looks like a helicopter out there, and you can see it before the sun rises. And that's why I say at first light, it's in the eastern sky. But then after the sun does shine, look at these temperatures. We're going up to near record levels on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I also want to note we have a bit of a rip current risk now. It's going to increase big time next week when Lee goes on bias. I really do think the big question is going to be how many hundreds of miles will Lee pass east of us about mid next week. What about the record heat? Going to hold through about Friday, and then thunderstorms will be on the increase.